Belgium in mid-March, they imposed lockdowns across the country, including curfews, just like they did in the UK and America. And then in August, they came out with 2 open letters were published. One questioning where is the evidence-based science, the other questioning, calling for a reverse of the lockdowns. And now we're leading into, in the UK, you're seeing a second lockdown with curfews. And right around that time in Belgium, we're seeing another open letter. This one is gaining some substantial traction. This was published in the American Institute for Economic Research. This is an open letter to medical doctors and health professionals, to all Belgian authorities and all Belgian media. This is from Docs for Open Debate. And this letter has already had some major signature numbers at this point. We're looking at 473 medical doctors, over 1,500 medically trained health professionals, over 10,000 citizens, and that was as of this morning. Now, the letter, it talks about rushed, ineffective PCR tests. I mean, it's really, if you were to go a best of the Highwire, that is what this letter shows.
Fantastic.
And it says, I recommend everyone go read it. It says here, this is a clip from it: "We ask for an open debate where all experts are represented without any form of censorship. After the initial panic surrounding COVID-19, the objective facts now show a completely different picture. There is no medical justification for any emergency policy anymore. The current crisis management has become totally disproportionate and causes more damage than it does any good. We call for an end of all measures and ask for an immediate restoration of our normal democratic governance and legal structures of all our civil liberties." Now, the letter goes on. I want to keep reading this. It's so powerful. As doctors and health professionals, in the face of the virus, which in terms of its harmfulness, mortality, and transmissibility approaches the seasonal influenza, we can only reject these extremely disproportionate measures. And this is what they call for. We therefore demand an immediate end to all measures. We're questioning legitimacy of the current advisory experts who meet behind closed doors, and we call for an in-depth examination of the role of the WHO and the possible influence of conflicts of interest in this organization. It is also at the heart of the fight against the infodemic, the systemic censorship of all dissenting opinions in the media. This is unacceptable for a democratic state governed by rule of law.
Fantastic. And in many ways, when they talk about the media, I hope in this country we see similar letters. And by the way, CNN, you know, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, Fox, all of you guys, shame on you for pushing this lie the way that you have. This is happening all around the world, isn't it? We have serious dissent now taking place in the scientific community. Of course, we had the great interviews we did last week with the world-renowned scientists that have written books on this. This is, I think this is exciting. I mean, I'm hoping this is showing that the temperature, at least in the scientific community, is shifting around the world as we speak.
Yeah, and the fact that this was published in an American outlet shows there is a global unity of we're all in this together when we're fighting the we'll call it disproportionate responses to this virus lockdown and the new lockdown that they're trying to impose right now. This letter is pretty much, if anybody is trying to play catch up here with what we've been talking about on the Highwire, this letter is it. If you want to go read this thing, they're talking about the PCR test. They're talking about the media censorship. They're talking about immunity and the T cells and cross immunity from other coronavirus reactions in the past or infections in the past. It's an amazing letter, and it's all backed by science, and this is where we need to go.
Well, and that's what science is watching its own institutions collapse. They're on fire. They're burning, you know, like downtown Seattle and Detroit and places where, you know, we're watching this entire thing starting to collapse around us in this country, but also around the world. And scientists must be terrified right now. They know how dangerous it is when you are not actually testing your own hypothesis, when you are not actually doing proper science and using scientific reason to work your way through, when it's being driven by outside financial interests, political agendas, and certainly media coercion. It's fantastic, but you know why it's happening. Scientists are finally saying, if we don't speak up now, we will have no science on this planet. There will be no use for us. We are now just a religious body that pushes whatever we believe, despite what we actually know to be true. If you like that clip, then be sure to check out our live broadcast of The Highwire every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific Time. You can watch it on Facebook, iTunes, and Twitter. We'll see you there.